We are back at the Scott County Courthouse. This is day 2 because we have all of our protective order paperwork done, and it has to be turned in with the clerk here in Scott County, Indiana, concerning Tiffany's ex-husband going around everywhere, not just social media, but everywhere, causing huge, tremendous damages with his lies and his bullshit. The clerk just got the paperwork to start the defamation case. It's slander case, however you want to say it.
Okay, guys. So if you're going to do this.
All right, EPOs are filed. Defamation slander case is filed, and we will be filing motions inside of that from here on out on our e-filing system that we do. So there are going to be subpoenas involved. There's going to be evidence going in. There's going to be all kinds of stuff to do. This is not like easy stuff to keep up with because it's tedious. And it takes a lot of time going through all your paperwork and your stuff, and it is not something we should have had to do. I mean, we literally have a life that's getting stopped because of this, and it's complete nonsense. It's totally unnecessary.
All right, then. There we go. Welcome to the channel. Well, we always know the saga going on here between Christopher and Tiffany and the few anti-frauditor channels that they're, I don't know, bitching back at or whatever, and filing suit. I guess they're going to do something like that. You know, I think there's a lot to unwrap here. I've been waiting for the smoke to clear and just kind of get my own take on it. Now, I don't go around watching the other channels that are mentioned in this because I just don't have time. There's a couple channels I watch fairly regularly, but I just don't have time to watch them all. So I'm generally watching 6 to 10 videos a day of frauditors, and you know, I pick up on something there, then I'll go research back, and I have referred back to Troll's channel, and I have referred back to Wrangler's channel, and I've to see, you know, what's going on, and then you know, make my video here and draw my conclusions. Basically going to play it and just break it down and give my opinion. Now, the one thing I can say is we're on the internet, and regardless of what it is that you're putting out there, doesn't matter. It's there, and it is the internet. And if you're going to have a channel that's going to criticize someone else, you're putting yourself out there. So you have to learn how to take it and move on, or respond to it and end up like this. And here's the other thing. Look, they're doing all this shit without an attorney. He's talking about this disrupting their life and their life coming to a standstill and their future life. Well, if it's that severe, why in the hell don't you have an attorney? Because you're not doing yourself any favors thinking you understand the law. You may understand the words you read, but knowing court procedure is a lot of it, if not more so, knowing court procedure. I mean, look how many times dipshit Chili, you know, filed a motion improperly or gave it to the wrong person just because he didn't understand procedure. How many times he let time run out, you know, on motions and stuff, and you see the reply from the court is, well, you had ample time to do it, or you don't have the right content, the right time, whatever it be. I'm not a lawyer, but I know they went to school to do that, and you didn't, my friend. You didn't. And you do look like a guy that probably, you know, goes fishing on a Saturday and builds decks Monday through Friday. So, yeah, I get it. I do know Tiffany doesn't ever get much to say in, because every time she gets more than a sentence out, you cut her off and take over. So that tells me a lot about you right there. Okay, so we're going to kind of piece this together. Thanks for being here, everybody. I got my little note here to remind me. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment. I enjoy, I just enjoy every bit of the comments, more so than I do making the videos. So, yep, anything you can do to help my channel out is appreciated. Keeps me motivated to keep going, and hopefully that's the case. So that's the goal. So let's move forward here.
So William, we expected out of him, and that's why we've been asking for law enforcement to make it stop, because that's their job. They should have made it stop a long time ago, and we're pretty pissed. But as far as these other channels, other YouTubers, we're all supposed to be YouTubers. I don't understand what the deal is. All I'm asking is, criticize me all you want. Don't care about that. Some of it's even funny. But when you start attacking our kids and our family and our business,
That's not
and
funny.
working with a person who's under investigation for hurting our kids and family and us and our business and all that, I don't understand that, guys. Like, I do not get that, and please do not put our family through anymore. I couldn't ask more nicely. Legal action on you guys is definitely not something we wanted to do. I just didn't want you stealing my entire video, guys. I'm trying to grow, and I need the views to make the channel grow. What I don't need is people that are watching my stuff getting verbally hammered every single time they say anything. Just, criticize, but don't attack. Like, don't be like that. Just stop. You got your own lives to live. Go live them.
Yeah, whoa there, dunce cap. God, you're gonna blame an entire platform or a genre in the platform, really? I mean, come on, man. The more you put this stuff out there, the longer it's gonna go on. You could do all this behind the scenes, and it looks like you've been doing some for a while, and you probably should have just left it there. But it is the internet. It is what it is. You're not going to stop. There's just going to be people that are going to attack. I get it all the time. I mean, they attack you. So grow some nads, or rough your skin up or something, dude. It is what it is. So this William guy, from what I gather, from what I have picked up on, was married to Tiffany, and granted, there's probably some animosities there, so who knows what's going to come out of this. But we're going to watch at least the first 45 minutes to kind of lay out the foundation, and that'll probably be enough for us. We won't probably have to get into too deep of details after that. But I will say this about Chrissy here. He kind of like somebody else we know. He likes to look at that cell phone when he's talking, and loves to hear himself talk, and probably says too much, and he probably means well. But that's why you have attorneys, man. This guy's going to fail just on that alone. I guarantee you, I promise you, it's going to come back to haunt him, the fact that he doesn't understand procedure. He might understand what he reads, but the procedure's going to kill him. I promise. It does any of them. All right, let's just kind of keep moving along
What
here.
they need from you. You know what I'm saying? I never get those reports from the state or from the Harrison County.
What it involves is YouTube. So he has now gone on to YouTube and found channels bigger than mine to go on there and do, wreak absolute havoc on our lives.
Okay.
And I'm talking about Billy.
Right.
So what is going on in a nutshell is William has been collaborating with bigger YouTube channels. William is lying to everybody. He's saying that I beat women. He's saying that she's stealing money from the state. He's saying that she's a drug addict, and we're both alcoholics of every night, drinking. I could go on, but here's what we'll do from here. I'm going to stop the camera, and now I'm going to share you the criminal stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because before you stop the camera, of course, everybody in America is innocent until proven guilty.
That's right.
And I have to stay neutral.
Yes.
So that's the reason why I say,
And I'm appreciative of that. That's what I want out of this. I want a non-partisan
Yes.
person looking at the facts and figuring this out with us. Okay. All right. I'm going to shut this off.
Alrighty then, asking you shall receive. I said I didn't know much about the claims against this William, but sounds like to me that you have a bad relationship. There's a lot of animosity there if something like this is going on, you know. And some of it may be true, maybe it's not true, maybe it's embellishments. Usually that's what I found the case with friends of mine that had split up, and you see both sides, outside looking in. There's little bits of truth to just about everything that each party says, but a lot of embellishments. So you have to take what you hear with a grain of salt, but you also have to, you have to swallow it, because if there's bits of truth in it with embellishments, then it requires looking at, little analyzing. So, yeah, that's kind of what it smells like, though. And how many people have you known or have heard of that have defrauded the government by making false claims to draw welfare or disability? Disability insurance paying off on, fabricated injuries or exaggerated, and sometimes that requires fraudulent doctors and stuff. And hey, they're out there. I mean, like it or not, the world is full of nefarious creatures. So, yeah, I just think this guy, I just don't see how he could get this butt hurt over his YouTube channel, because he admitted it. You're interfering with my YouTube channel. I just want my channel to grow, guys. I deserve to be here just as much as you do. What? Well, maybe, then maybe not. Your true colors will define your status and your longevity here. It's your true colors will, not what you say. There's another topic fairly close to me that comes to mind, and it has to do with YouTube. And anyway, that's not for now, and it's a bit personal. Let's get back.
What it is, and that's what you gotta remember, guys. That's what separates us from the damn frauditor channels. Is we'll let people come in here and bitch their gripes and get off their chest what they've got to. Well, actually, they can insult the fraud wrangler all they want to, but let them, say not nice things. Say what?
16 more days.
Yeah, right. Don't they start saying unnice things to Mrs. Wrangler, then that's a completely different scenario. So, having said that, please continue, Billy.
Okay, let's see. I'm trying to think of where we're at. So, PCS removes a kid. Well, I think we end up going to court not very long after that. I don't want to say timelines, but I don't know exactly. But we end up going to court over that. My daughter was ruled as a CHINS case because she was removed by the state, which is a child in the need of services. Well, when I got custody of my daughter, CHINS and DCS stopped out. They stepped out of the case. They dropped it. They didn't, she keeps saying that the CHINS case has been reversed and that she's going to get her daughter back. Well, our daughter was only in CHINS case for 3 weeks, and she signed her rights over to me.
Billy, so you had the, I'm going to be bold enough to say the unfortunacy to be married to Miss Tiffany.
I did. Absolutely.
All right. And what we're going to do different tonight, guys, than we would normally do is just because there's just so much info to go over. And yes, we did, thanks to Billy, provide you guys with receipts tonight. And
I won't say anything I don't have receipts for.
Absolutely. And I respect that. And so what we're going to do right now is I'm going to kind of turn it over to Billy for a minute.
So that's the exact same crimes that we talked about in the live stream where I exposed his criminal history. Now, as you may or may not know, this First Amendment auditor hates the First Amendment, so he does file false illegal copyright strikes.
William is pretending that he knows me. We have never met, never once. He does not know me. He does not know anything about me. And they're going over my Indiana record, like my record. And they are making, just based on a couple of dismissed cases, and then one case that actually did happen and I pled to, which was a battery. But they're making their own minds up on what they think, their own narrative of what they think happened in those
It's
cases.
going to be a great one. Now, I do have a special guest today. Let me introduce you to Billy.
Hello, everybody.
What's up? Now, for those who don't know, Billy is actually the ex-husband of official misconduct, right, Tiffany? So that's your ex-wife.
Yes, and don't hold that against me.
No, I will not hold that against you. So it turns out that a lot of the stuff that these two frauditors are saying, Christopher and Tiffany, is a pile of bullshit. And Billy is here to set the record straight. There is a lot. First of all, Billy has an insane story to tell us about what he went through dealing with these people. And then we're going to take a look at Christopher's criminal charges, Elevator Boy, and there's a lot. This guy is just like every other frauditor. He's used to it. He's used to living the life of crime. I think I'm going to be able to get more views because I think that this movement could get more traction, but it's all about being smart with the algorithm, because when I see the word frauditor, I know what it is, but at first I didn't. And I don't even know how Nicole found this stuff. But
Right.
yeah, once you get into it and you see these people, it's addictive to just roast them constantly. So let's continue. So first of all, first part of the live stream, we'll be taking a look at Elevator Boy for Public Safety's very long criminal record.
Okay, so this is what happens when you really watch the facts and so on. The details come out for the first time. My questions are being answered as we go. Now, some of you have already seen this. Maybe some of you haven't. Maybe some of you, like me, you know bits and pieces. You picked up on a little bit here and there. That's pretty much where I've been. Now, I wanted to wait for the smoke to clear more than anything. Because you're talking about, one of the more popular, bigger channels in the community, and that's Frauditor Troll. And, Troll's always managed to sustain through a lot of stuff, watch a lot of things come down on him, and he's always come out, okay. So he knows how to take care of himself. And Wrangler hasn't been around that long, but certainly has drawn the attention of the community since he has been around. Hasn't been a lack of exposure to the brand name, that's for sure. And then, I think KFAR was named in this too, and KFAR's been around for a little while, and we all know that Wrangler's military. I think KFAR is military and maybe even police or a security guard or something. And I apologize. I just don't know the details of his life, just because I catch him here or there. I like his dry sense of humor, that's for sure. So I wanted to make sure that the smoke had settled, so everything was as clear as possible to me. So now I give my take on it. This Christopher's a dunce. He is. I mean, that dunce cap fits him well. He's just he appears to me to be like a lot of them. He's a narcissistic, Seems like kind of controlling, because like I said before, she hardly gets a sentence in and he's cutting her back off, and this guy just, has that chili syndrome, driving while streaming, even if you're parked, looking into the camera, all chili-esque like, and never stopping, and pretty fond of himself, it seems like. So have some humility, people. This guy is basically a chump. Only because he's trying to do this without an attorney and he thinks he's smarter than what he is. So he'll end up coming back to bite him. So I guess coming up next is going to be some more from the channels, maybe in him or whatever. Either way, you have one side saying this and the other saying another. So this William guy is going to lay out his case. And I did pick up bits and pieces of it as it was happening, and he really occasionally said, well, he's just mentioned what he can read in the court records for the filings. I don't see that many dispositions. One of them's left wide open. A lot of dismissals, which could mean a couple things. Anyway, let's get back to it.
So here it goes. And
I just want to say before we get started, I do have a criminal record, and I've said that from the very beginning. I've done some other shows that's not what I'm here for. I'm just here to expose them. It's been 10 years since I've been in trouble. I changed my life for my kid, but I just want people to know that I'm not trying to point the finger and not acknowledge what I've done, because I have done wrong.
What's really important is that, first of all, if you're calling out frauditors, you don't want to have recent criminal history, because then it kind of conflicts against what you're trying to do. And second of all, it's like, as long as the criminal history is in your past, you're saying it's 10 years ago. So, you're a different person now. So the difference between you and Christopher is actively committing crimes right now. So, So for full disclosure, what were you arrested for?
So I was on opiates for a long time. It started when I was about 19 till I was 20. So all my stuff is just, receiving stolen properties, thefts, just trying to pay for my drug addiction. Nothing against kids, never no domestics, never no hitting a woman, none of that.
Yeah. It seems like, opiates is a plague, and
I can give you my full information later, Troll, and you can look it all up and to verify what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I believe you. The fact that you came up front and say, hey, before we start calling him out, let me tell you, this is what I've done. That's good. That's commendable. And so you were able to get off opiates?
Yes.
All right. Well, I applaud that. It must be hard.
Thank you. It's tough. It's not easy.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, a couple things here, just because I have to touch on these subjects. 10 years ago, you say, is long enough that it should be in your past. I do want to remind the community that we often refer to guys like S. Elmo, even Ruff, several of them, Sean Reyes, and we hold their criminal history, we hold them responsible. And some of it goes back in the early 2000s, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, what have you. So my point being is, I think if it's behind you, it's behind you. I don't think time matters. If you're willing to make that change in your life, you make it and go. The other thing would be the opiates. There's a huge misconception sometimes just how widespread the opiate addiction problem was and still is. Not near as bad as it was 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I myself was addicted to opiates, and in my case, I was supplied by doctors. I didn't have to buy anything from the streets. I got prescription until the day came that the DEA started figuring these pain medication mills out down in Florida and stuff, and the pharmaceutical companies 100% to blame for this. They knew exactly what was going on. They knew what they were doing. It was all about making money. Doctors knew it too. So, difference being there. And the Suboxone program is a good program for those that want to recover from. It helps a lot. Don't let people fool you. It's not a narcotic to speak of. Do some research and you'll learn that it doesn't work the way some people think.
All right. So we'll be taking a look at his criminal activities. So get ready, guys, because it's going to be a little while. There's 15 cases. So another strangler, right? So confinement, this is the basic criminal confinement charge, intimidation. So in this case, the cases were dismissed, but it's still there.
Tiffany, Chris, her brother, his girlfriend, and the baby were there when DCS showed up, which is CPS in Indiana. It's called Department of Child Services, DCS. So when she came in the door, Chris ran over and locked it and locked her inside.
Wow. So he locked a CPS worker inside his own home?
No, not his home, Tiffany's brother's home.
Yeah, he held her as a hostage.
Yes, that's what the criminal confinement is.
Wow. And so how did he? I mean, something must have went wrong.
I think the DCS lady was scared and did not press charges after initially turning in charges. I don't know for sure, but I think she was scared.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. He is a degenerate, and I just want to say. Right now, I'm looking at his criminal charges that are here, and Billy has provided me additional evidence behind the scenes. I'm not going to pull it up tonight because there's a lot of personal names of the kids that were involved, but I've seen it. So I know that Billy is not talking out of his ass. So I've seen most of what he's saying. I've seen with my own two eyes, paperwork that corroborates his story. I just want to put it out there. But so
thank you for that.
Yeah, so from my research, what I'm giving Billy a platform. From my research, it does look to be true. So that's all I just want to say. I've done my part of researching and making sure I don't bring people up with baseless allegations. He has provided receipts, documents that prove what he's saying. So I just want to put it out there. And later on, when you do get the redacted version, at first I thought I was just going to redact it.
There's a lot.
It's a lot. There
was 5 kids in the house. There was 5 kids in the house.
In the house, and there's the name of all the kids, and it would take hours and hours. Okay, so that's what happened with this case. So this case, the lady dropped it because she was scared. Is that right?
Yes.
So as far as the law is concerned, this case is dismissed. Let's move on to the next one. Case number 2. So this is a operation on highway of non-complying vehicle, improper passing on the left. Charge number 3, failure of occupant to use safety belt. We know frauditors aren't much for following the laws in general. Charge number 4, safety belt again. Oh my God, this guy, man. All right, speeding. Oh my God. All right.
I don't know how he still got his license.
I don't know. 10, a felony. So this is a home improvement fraud and theft.
This is what he's doing now. He's going on these dumbass troll channels, the guys that don't know how to read law at all or understand anything that they're reading. And then he's pretending that he knows me, like William is pretending that he knows me. We have never met, never once. He does not know me. He does not know anything about me. And they're going over my Indiana record, like my record. And they are making, just based on a couple of dismissed cases, they're making their own minds up on what they think, their own narrative of what they think happened in those cases. And they're way the fuck off. And accusing me of beating women. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous, you guys. They're ruining my business too, because my business suffered. I'm a construction company owner, and I used to do residential, and I do clients that are insurance companies for like insurance claims. And I had one of my insurance companies reach out to me for a guy that said he had major tornado damage to the roof, to several roofs actually on the country farm property. And I get out there, they cut me the check and get me going, and I get out there and I did not find the damage. I didn't see that it was damaged the way he was alleging. So I had to go back to the insurance company and get an adjuster to come out and actually look with me. And in the meantime, I refused to give the guy his check, the check from the insurance company, because we were looking at it as potentially being fraud, that he was, trying to get money from his insurance company, but he was demanding to get the money from me, from my company, which would have put me in a position of helping him with fraud. So of course I didn't give it to him, and I spoke with investigators about it. Well, I ended up taking, letting them pretty much charge me. I didn't get charged, but it didn't resolve in me being charged. But I ended up allowing the process to happen and I refused to give the guy the check. And then in court, they saw what we were doing, what was happening. And then I ended up giving him the deposit that he had provided to the insurance company in the end, and they kept him from doing insurance fraud. So, I literally was keeping the guy from committing insurance fraud.
Yeah, okay, so here's where you get the I said, she said stuff. I will say this, the whole thing makes sense the way the story's told. I live in Tornado Alley. I understand that kind of stuff happens. I've known neighbors that have done pretty well on roof things, but a little old lady having her deposit money ripped off from her is a pretty easy story. There is no disposition in this, so how can you say one way or another? Unless you go in, dig the documents up, and look at and read the case and its conclusion, you don't know. So I might, if I get time, go look in Indiana. I think they have pretty lenient records availability. So not right now. But point being is, you've got this story and that story. You've got an ex that's got a grievance and has pointed out a lot of charges. Another thing that I noticed is so many of these were dismissed, and there's a few ways or reasons that a case would get dismissed, but the most common would be in cases like these, that as evidence becomes clear to the court, so on, and discovery and so on and so forth, maybe late discovery, whatever, for whatever reason, as the evidence starts to take a turn, the judge says, "Oh, this is nonsense," and dismisses it. It could be dismissed for a lot of other reasons, but that's probably the most common. And more than likely, what happened on these, who knows? You have to read them to find out. Anyway, yeah. So the thing is with Chris, he just needs to stop. He's driving and live streaming, and he just should have never taken it this far. Tiffany struck gold. I think she was the one doing the fishing that night. Struck gold on him, because he's basically, you hardly ever hear from her, and he's just taking this thing and going with it. It's not going to go anywhere, because he doesn't have a lawyer, dude. It's all going to come down to procedure and the filings and stuff. I guarantee you, a good attorney wouldn't allow nonsense. So, but he's got it handled. Him and Tiff do. So, I think they're going to lose this battle. All right, let's get a little bit more information here and see what's happening.
And these people are saying that, this is so crazy. They're saying that there was a little old lady that gave me money and I didn't do the job. Where the fuck are they even coming up with that shit?
Yeah,
For
that's from his so-called business that he has is so successful.
Yeah. So, and he had a cash bond of $5,000. So, are you aware of this charge or any inside info on this? Or
I am. I was told that from a very good source that he started. He did have a construction business at one time. It was around 2010. They built decks, and he took this lady's work on and took her money and never finished the
wow.
job.
Okay. So, he's really good at getting the cases dismissed because this one was also dismissed. But there is convictions coming up, guys. Don't worry. So yeah. So this was he had a jury trial and it was canceled because the case was dismissed. All right. Next one, we have expired plates. Now we're delving into the sovereign citizen territory.
Right.
Now we have, what is this? Oh, that's a civil corporation. So that's just money he owed. All right. So not much info about this. He owed money. Okay. Here we have a criminal misdemeanor in 2002. All right. So what's the charge here? Okay, this is for battery.
And then one case that actually did happen, and I pled to, which was a battery, but they're making their own minds up on what they think, their own narrative of what they think happened in those cases, and they're way the fuck off and accusing me of beating women. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous, you guys. I had a battery charge, which is true, and I've published my record. I've given my last name. I tell people where my Indiana my case is. Obviously, I'm wide open about it. I always have been, and we've published all the proof all along of everything. But anyway, yeah, on my record from when I was like 20, I had a battery, and it was a dude, and there was a girl involved. Caught a dude cheating with my girlfriend at the time, and yeah, there was a battery involved, and it was not on the girl. The guy did not press charges, and then they used her as a witness. So these idiots are reading a case like that and seeing where I pled guilty to a battery and then took probation, and they're saying, well, because a girl's name is on this, it was a girl that he beat, and it's completely fucking wrong.
So this is the one you were talking about, right? In 2002. So he
Yes.
pled guilty. So he pled guilty to battery. So what happened with this?
I think he said he had to do. I think it says he had to do 30 days of domestic violence classes. He had to pay 130 something, I believe, is what the outcome was of that. But there should be another domestic of 2015.
Okay, hold on. The defendant is ordered to report today and must not possess or consume any alcohol while on probation. The defendant is further ordered to attend Dr. Katz's domestic violence program. The fine is waived. I don't know why they did that, and it was $132. So he did pled guilty to battery. And so who did he injure? So
It's a female.
Yeah. So you think it was a girlfriend, or he's a convicted batterer?
And it says in there that she is a female. It does say her name, and it says you have to take domestic violence classes. So I mean,
yeah, I guess if we put two and two together,
right? It says it without saying it, you know.
Yeah, by definition, he is a woman beater. All right, let's continue. Here we have infraction, seatbelt, and here we have the state versus Christopher Ryder, and this was in 1998. Sentenced as a misdemeanor. It doesn't really say what happened here.
Yeah, see, there should be a 2015 one where he beat up a girl and put a cigarette out on her.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So, 2021. No, it goes straight from, unless, hold on, let me go. I don't see more. From 2015, it goes straight from 2020 here to 2020. All right.
There'll be a 2015 charge where he beat a girl up and had a protection order on him and the lawyers and stuff.
It's not coming up, but send me a screenshot. Send me a screenshot because it's not coming up here. I don't know why it's doing that. But all right, so that's his criminal charges. So he pled guilty to battery. Then he had a fraud and home improvement case. A criminal confinement. That's the guy fighting for your rights, everybody. The great activist. Anyways, Billy's a great guy, man. He went through a lot. He's about to tell his story about how this whole thing happened. Do you think law enforcement take them seriously? I don't know. Probably not. They're a joke, basically.
Okay, well, this goes much deeper than he said, she said. And, what it boils down to is you're putting all this out on the internet. So once you put it out there, it's out there. And you've got summations being made based upon what's available. And yes, you can put 2 and 2 together and it will equal 4, but it might take 3 plus 5 to complete the problem. So, I'm neither here nor there. Wait and see if more comes out. What bothers me is there's this fervor to expose, get them exposed. That's what we do. We expose them. I personally am going to go to their channels, watch their material, and I'm going to expose them the way that I see it. I don't take any influences from anybody. There's only a couple channels that I go watch on a regular basis, and it's very few because I don't have time. I'm watching 5, 8, sometimes as many as a dozen videos a day or more, skipping through them, just looking for content that gets my attention. Sometimes that content's already out there so much I just pass it because, see how things unfold. This is going to go on for a little bit. We'll see how things unfold. I do admire this community in the sense that all that it has been through, some of the backstories and so on of the creators, it's gotten a little testy and a little touch and go. I've even heard descriptions of, man, you can't stand that, da 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 da. But there's always a mutual respect for what we do here. And I think that kind of talk on the surface is mostly superfluous anyway. So the deal with this is now it's going to move to I jumped ahead here a little bit. It's going to move to Chris now wanting to defend, or he's trying to create a picture of being kind of a hero that back in February of 2023 that he takes information to a prosecuting attorney. Now, I clicked ahead, and when I did, this is the still shot that came up, so I used it here while I'm narrating this, and I find it interesting because I'm like, yeah, that's the kind of expression that'll probably be applicable again. So got this guy on a couple expressions that are $1 million. So we'll watch and see what this is long as hell. Some of you may want to come back and watch the rest of it later. I may not even upload this. It's just so depressing. The whole, just in the big picture of things. Talk about frauditing. Anyway, so let's get on with this and see where it's going. I may cut it off, I may not. I'm not sure. Probably will. we'll see what they're up to though, and see if we can kind of get the gist of it. All right, without further ado, I need to get up and get a fresh cup of tea, so I'm going to play this.